Hi, I'm Shawna Karrasch here with another Ask Shawna answer. Today's question comes from Linda, and she says, my 11-year-old Hessian mare is a fantastic jumper with plenty of scope. She schools wonderfully with confidence at home, but at the shows, always shows in particular, she often refuses to jump for no apparent reason. She is physically sound and being competed way below her ability level with a seasoned amateur. Would clicker training help this problem? Absolutely. As I first started doing the clicker training, I started with John and Beezy Madden. So my own interest was in jumping. My ex-husband was a Grand Prix show jumper. So this is where I started. All of my interest started. So I have dealt with water jump issues. I've dealt with stopping issues. I've dealt with all of it. And this is a phenomenal tool, better than any I've come across in all of the whole traditional training, is teaching them with the positive reinforcement about jumping. I ideally like the positive reinforcement being the clicker training. I mean, the clicker is a small part of a bigger picture, because the positive reinforcement is really what they're working for. The clicker is just the tool that tells them, yes, what you just did is correct. So when you're jumping a course, or when they're jumping, as soon as they commit, you can click and go, I like what you did. And they're going to, you can bookmark that moment in time, because you're not going to reinforce them until you're on the other side and they come down to a stop. If it's possible, I always love to, I mean, in certain scenarios, or if you have the people there, the number one thing I would do is I would start teaching that your mare to free jump. And that is so easy to do. I teach them to do, and there's, you know what, I have some video on the blog that is bugs free jumping and learning to free jump, so you'll kind of see that and can break that down a little bit. I first start by teaching them to go what I call A to B, so it goes from one person to the other person. And then I just have them go between two standards, and I put a rail, and then I'll raise that rail up to, and as they're learning to go back, I always click on the behavior I want to see more of, which is committing to the pole. And then going to the other person, and then move it up to a little X, and move it up to a little vertical. And pretty soon you're going to have her jumping, free jumping all on her own. Now, why this is so different, I mean, we've all done free jumping, but this is without chutes, without halters, without contact. It's totally free jumping. And I just put a jump in the middle of the ring. But what is really changing it here is, you know, through traditional training, why would she necessarily, if she finds it, you know, I'm sure she's kind of more distracted at a show. You know, she just has become, it sounds to me like she's become unnerved for some reason. I mean, why, we don't necessarily know. You know, sometimes if they're really sensitive, one bad jump can have them go, oh, I don't think I like that. So by putting something in it for her, so through traditional training, there's not a reason why she would really want to fix that. She can stop and not have to go. But, and you know, we may get after them, and she may kind of want to get through it, but it doesn't mean she wants to do it. It means I have no choice. I better do it. But by putting the positive reinforcement in it, you're going to get her to want to do it. And this is going to change it all the way around. So you're going to get her where she is now building up the correct reinforcement history. So now it's like this. She's going, I don't really want to jump all that much, particularly it shows, so I'm not going to. And so she finds it reinforcing. She finds it works for her to stop, and she gets out of it, even if it's for that moment in time. And it shows it's kind of harder because you can't really go back in school. You got, you're out of the ring. So what we're going to do is build up the reinforcement history. And as she starts to have more weight on the side of the scale that is part of jumping, she is going to think, I want to jump. There's even in my original video, I have a horse who was, he was a stopper. He had won all kinds of things, heavily campaigned, and I mean, he'd won the big indoor shows. And he had came to me as a stopper. And so as he came in, he wouldn't even cross a ground pole, a ground rail with a halter and lead rope. Wouldn't even step over it. No saddle, nothing. He just wouldn't even walk over it. He'd just start trembling. So as we, you know, did this for kind of, he's probably a few weeks, a month into it, took him up to John and Beezy's to film the video, and just took him out, and he left me to go jump. We were adjusting the jump, and he's like, don't stop me, I'm going. So you'll totally turn that around. Then I'd integrate the rider in, but I'd have the person call her to the other side of the jump. So it's not really about the rider and the ride. She's kind of jumping on her own, and then slowly start integrating the rider back in. reinforcing for her commitment, her effort, her try, and again, clicking or bridging when she commits to going over the jump. So go to the blog, and I think you can find under, I think it's under Bugs and Mint both jump. So you can find some videos that you can kind of see that a little bit more. And you know, if you have questions, Linda, as you're going along, don't hesitate to contact me, you or anybody else, at askshawna.com. Okay, so keep me informed of your progress, and until next time, I'm Shawna Karrasch, and enjoy getting your horse on target.